ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker, Dr. Fazala Mahanaj, pediatrician in Apollo Hospitals, Visakhapatnam. She is going to talk about multi-system inflammatory syndrome in children. This is the subject in which we should all take interest because if it causes serious illness in children, if not diagnosed and treated early, complications of COVID-19 which presents in some children after a few weeks. ఇక్కడ స్టార్ట్ అయింది వస్తుందా మనం స్టార్ట్ చేయాలి.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dr. Fazala Mahanaj, consultant pediatrician in Apollo Hospitals, Vizag. The topic I'm going to talk today about is a current trending one, MISC, which means multi-system inflammatory syndrome in children. The syndrome is an inflammatory reaction in the body about 4 weeks after infection with the SARS-CoV-2 virus. The initial symptoms often include fever, rashes, red eyes, diarrhea, vomiting, and may get worse over a few days. The inflammation can affect different organs, that is the heart, blood vessels and other organs, which can make some children very ill and in need of urgent care. MISC was first identified in April 2020 by doctors at children's hospitals in United States and United Kingdom. The condition has also been called pediatric inflammatory multisystem syndrome, that is PIMS. MISC is an illness that can occur after COVID-19 infection and affects mostly school-age children. While the syndrome is rare, it can be dangerous.
Case study of MISC.
CDC case definition of MISC. It has to fulfill these criteria. An individual has to be aged less than 21 years with the clinical criteria of a minimum 24-hour history of fever more than 38 degrees centigrade, severe illness necessitating hospitalization and 2 or more organ systems affected, that is cardiac, renal, respiratory, hematologic, gastrointestinal, dermatologic and neurological. There should also be laboratory evidence of inflammation, that is one or more of the following lab markers should be elevated, that is CRP, ESR, fibrinogen, procalcitonin, D-dimer, ferritin, LDH, IL-6, that is interleukin 6. There should be elevated neutrophils as well, but lymphocytes are reduced, and also low albumin. Laboratory or epidemiological evidence of SARS-CoV-2 infection, that is positive SARS-CoV-2 testing by RT-PCR, serology or antigen, which we commonly refer to as RAT, or COVID-19 exposure within 4 weeks onset prior to onset of symptoms, and there should be no alternative diagnosis. The pathogenesis of MISC includes 3 phases. The first phase involves early infection with SARS-CoV-2, which is likely to be asymptomatic or mildly symptomatic in children. Phase 2 is pulmonary phase, which involves the lungs. This phase is severe in adults but is mild or absent in children. That is one of the difference. The early infection appears to trigger macrophage activation followed by the stimulation of T helper cells. The third phase is a hyperimmune response. This in turn leads to cytokine release, the stimulation of macrophage and neutrophils and monocytes along with the B cell and plasma cell activation, which produce the antibodies. This immune dysregulation is associated with the inflammatory syndrome in affected children. Direct infection with SARS-CoV-2 is less likely to play a role in MISC.
Ma'am, what is MIC syndromes?
The symptoms in MISC are the child can feel unusually weak, they can feel dizzy, the breathing will be fast, that is rapid, and the heartbeat, which is fast. They can have symptoms involving the eyes, that is red eyes. There can be rashes of various kinds like spots, raised like bumps or blotches. Coming to the abdominal signs, there can be significant or worsening abdominal pain, which is unbearable, diarrhea, that is loose motions, and vomiting. Also neurological symptoms like the child might be sleepy or confused. There might be swelling and redness of the lips, tongue, and swelling of the hands or feet, headache, dizziness or lightheadedness, and lymph node swelling.
Ma'am, what are the signs of MIC?
There will be severe stomach pain, difficulty breathing, pale grey or blue colored skin, lips or nail beds depending on the skin tone, new confusion, inability to wake up or stay awake.
When to see a doctor, ma'am?
This is a common question which many parents might be having. If your child has any of the emergency warning signs, as I have just told, okay, like fast breathing, fast heartbeat, severe abdominal pain, feeling confused, dizziness, you have to get immediately seen by a doctor or take to the nearest emergency department. If your child isn't severely ill but shows other signs and symptoms of MISC, you need to contact your child doctor right away, especially when there is a fever which is not improving after 3 days. Doctors may want to do basic tests, blood tests, which involve CBC, CRP, etc., or imaging of the chest or heart or abdomen to check for areas of inflammation and other signs of MISC.
Madam, what are the facts about MIC?
MISC is a rare complication of COVID-19, but it can be dangerous. The symptoms can overlap with infections and other illnesses. Kids showing symptoms should be seen by a doctor. So the other infections which can happen are like dengue, malaria, okay, those kind of regular fevers in children, pneumonia, etc. MISC usually affects school age children, mostly 8 to 9, but it involves even the teenagers and infants. MISC symptoms appear between 2 and 6 weeks, on an average about 4 weeks after COVID-19 infection. Most children with MISC have antibodies to SARS-CoV-2 virus. MISC is a treatable condition and most children recover fully from this illness. With prompt attention, medicines can control the inflammation and help avoid lasting organ damage, especially involving the heart.
Yes, ma'am. How can I approach children presenting with these signs concerning with MIC?
Obviously, since it is a child, you want them to be in safe hands. So it's better to admit them in ICU to monitor their cardiac and respiratory symptoms if they come with severe illness, of course. And you need to do laboratory evaluation of various tests, including CBC with the differential count, which gives the count of neutrophil, lymphocyte, monocyte, etc. Should also be doing urea, creatinine to check for renal functions. Check also the liver functions, which include ALT, AST, albumin, bilirubin, etc. Also the drop pi and procalcitonin, and check the urine with culture just to rule out if there is a UTI. It can be a differential diagnosis. We have to do a blood gas, of course, with lactate. The markers of inflammation are ESR, CRP, procalcitonin, ferritin, triglycerides, and interleukin 6 if it is available in the hospital. Also go for the coagulation panel, PT, APTT, fibrinogen, D-dimer, creatinine kinase, LDH. blood cultures, serology. But of course, we need to fulfill the criteria, so we'll do the nasopharyngeal swab and antibodies for SARS-CoV-2 by RT-PCR, and some additional tests to rule out other infections as well, like HLH, etc. We have to do the imaging, basic X-ray of the chest, abdominal ultrasound or CT if indicated, electrocardiogram, echo, 2D echo of the heart, and you need to coordinate with other specialties as well, like ICU team, cardiology team, rheumatology, infectious diseases, or pulmonologist and neurologist.
And how can we investigate MISC?
As you just mentioned, there are quite a few panels. Usually we go for one panel at a time depending on the severity. So SARS-CoV-2 testing, that is RT-PCR serology, and antibody testing, that is for IgG and IgM. As I mentioned earlier, CBC with differential count, blood cultures, and metabolic panel including LFTs, renal function tests, etc., urine analysis, ESR, CRP, D-dimer, ferritin, tropi, and chest X-ray and echo to rule out any myocarditis, valvulitis, or pericardial effusion, also to assess the functioning of the heart, to rule out any LV dysfunction.
Yeah. What are the treatments to approach MISC, ma'am?
So basically, as the patient admits, we wouldn't know it's MISC, of course. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, we'll admit the child accordingly. If they qualify for ICU, we'll admit there. Basically, it will be symptomatic initially. If there is a fever, you give paracetamol. Of course, if there is a hypotension, you give fluid boluses and start some broad spectrum antibiotics. And depending on the investigations, you add on. Of course, if there is hypertension, you and cardiac dysfunction, you will start vasopressors. Clinicians who suspect MISC in a child should use a multidisciplinary approach. It means you have to involve other pediatric specialists like cardiologist or pulmonologist, hematologist and rheumatologist as well, and the ICU team, of course. Depending on the subtype of MISC, they may require slightly different management based on the symptoms and lab values as well. So optimal treatment for a patient is still unknown. However, it is best determined by the team, multidisciplinary clinical team. So the following interventions have been used in the treatment.
Yes. What are the recommended treatments while approaching for MISC?
So if the patient appears hypotensive, like his BP drops, or appears septic, during evaluation you should treat with antibiotics, fluid resuscitation, and if necessary inotropes like noradrenaline, dobutamine, until bacterial infection has been ruled out. Patients with MISC are usually treated with IVIG, that is intravenous immunoglobulin. Usually we give 2 grams per kg up to a maximum of 100 grams. But patients who have cardiac dysfunction or where the fluid status will affect the heart, you increase the duration, that is you give 1 gram per kg per day, and if required, you will go for 1 gram per kg the following day. Of course, the infusion rates are quite slow in children. Patients who do not improve clinically or whose lab values do not improve have also been treated with steroid therapy. So you can give methylprednisolone depending on the severity of the illness. And a large recent study has found out that initial treatment with both IVIG and steroid therapy led to earlier resolution of fever compared to IVIG alone. Due to rapidly evolving treatment recommendations, consultation with pediatric subspecialists is strongly recommended. If the patient has lab or imaging evidence of myocardial injury or findings concerning for coronary artery aneurysms, discussion with pediatric cardiology is suggested prior to use of steroids. And patients treated with steroids or biologics often go home with a 3-week tapering of steroids or biologics. So you need to keep monitoring their sugar levels as well. All patients with MIS-C, unless there are contraindications like platelet count less than 1 lakh or active bleeding, should be started on low dose aspirin for thromboprophylaxis, and consultation with cardiology and hematology should take place to determine whether further intervention is required.
What is the discharge criteria in MIS, ma'am? Can you explain for a few words further?
Yeah. So as the patient improves after the treatment, there is certain criteria where we have to step them down from ICU to the ward. It will depend on the clinical scenario, of course, and the severity of the presenting illness. But generally, what we look for is lack of fever for 48 hours without antipyretics. Of course, the steroids will be on, but antipyretics like paracetamol, and there should be improvement in the presenting clinical symptoms. For instance, if there is diarrhea or rash. Discharge should be discussed with services seeing the patient in the follow-up. We should be arranging follow-up with the cardiology and infectious diseases, that is pulmonologist, etc. And patients with the coronary abnormalities may require longer use of aspirin. Patients on aspirin, they should be avoided NSAIDs, and steroids if received for in patients like 2 to 3 weeks, they should be on oral prednisolone minimum, and suggested tapering dose is also there. Usually it is 2 milligram per kg per day, okay, BD for 5 days, then 1 milligram BD for 5 days, then 0.5 milligram per kg for 5 days. Outpatient follow-up, as I mentioned, within 2 to 3 weeks, coordinating with the cardiology as well to repeat a 2D echo to look for the ventricular dysfunction, and also follow up in rheumatology with CBC, CRP and other inflammatory markers. And some more things to explain patients before they are discharged is the reason to return back if they have a high fever again and any new appearance of respiratory distress, and also to tell them about the vaccines, that they can't have live vaccines if they have had IVIG for at least 11 months, and vaccination should be deferred until the patient has recovered clinically from MIS-C, including return to normal cardiac function. This is regarding the COVID vaccine. Because the risk of reinfection is low in the months after SARS-CoV-2, individuals should consider delaying the COVID vaccine for 90 days after diagnosis of MIS-C. MIS-C is triggered by the virus that causes COVID-19. Usually people ask what is the connection between both. It can occur in children who have not had any common symptoms of COVID-19, like asymptomatic or mild symptoms such as fever, sore throat or cough. Most children with MIS-C will have antibodies to SARS-CoV-2 virus, indicating their body has been infected previously. The number of MIS-C cases also rises about 4 weeks after waves of COVID-19 cases in that community. So doctors are still learning why some children develop this illness after COVID-19 illness and why some don't. So some people might be interested in a few topics about what is COVID appropriate behavior, what is the best way to protect children to continue follow the COVID-19 behaviors, that is always maintain physical distance and stay home as much as possible. Wear mask when you are outside. Children above 2 years can also wear mask. Hand washing is very important. Okay, and getting vaccinated. As of now, we have vaccine available for 18 years above. And avoid public gatherings, functions, etc., group play, etc. Discuss, demonstrate, and re-emphasize the importance of COVID appropriate behaviors, that is CAB, with your children. The hand wash technique, which is important, the step-by-step process of hand wash, and some more questions regarding mothers and children, like if the mother is positive, can the children stay with her? So if the mother has mild symptoms, of course she can look after her children. For infant children, mothers should continue breastfeeding as much as possible, and if the child is positive and the parents are negative, parents can continue to take care of the child. However, while caring, parents should wear a mask and use gloves for the protection, etc. Of course, you should avoid contact with the elderly people. Some high-risk children who can get severe COVID, severe illness from COVID or MIC are the high-risk ones. Like for example, if they have a heart, kidney or liver disease or any malignancies, or children with obesity, diabetes, asthma or chronic lung disease, sickle cell disease, immunosuppression, all these children might be at increased risk. So while parents need to monitor the progression of illness, it appears that most infants and children with these underlying conditions also do not usually require severe COVID-19, usually develop severe COVID-19 illness. Regarding the routine vaccination in children, usually the children who are due can have vaccination after 2 weeks of developing the COVID illness. If child needs some higher medication such as steroids, which suppresses the components of patient immunity, immunization needs to be deferred for 3 months after the medications. Thank you.